Hi, this is Tranisha Cottrell, and today I wanted to talk about meditating. So, what made me want to talk about meditating is earlier today I was listening to the sermon, and the sermon talked about stunting, I think is what it was called. And it pretty much went on about a message about like stunting your growth and different things that you do in life that kind of can deter or distract you from what it is that your purpose is or how God wants to use you, and how sometimes when we're going through life, we could be in a situation where God is saying, okay, I want to test you in this area. I want to see if you're really about that life. I want to show you this is how it can be. Like, this might be what you have so far, but there's more that I want to do in your life. And sometimes we can get to a point in our life where we might have faith, we might have things in our life that aren't supposed to be there for a really long time. Like maybe they're just there for a season or a reason, or just to help you along in your journey as you develop or grow or whatever else it is. And let me try to put this up a little bit. I think that helped a little. I don't know. So I just decided to always have to explain this, but my throat is still like a little sore. I mean, I wouldn't say sore. It just feels like it's like I got to keep clearing my throat. And I know you're probably like, what is the difference from now and usual? But really, really it's a little different because while I'm talking, it's like going like this. So it's like it feels like it's like irritating it a little. So I'm trying not to do too much talking. So I haven't really been doing a lot of talking today. But of course I'm doing this video. And so since I've been feeling like that, I was just kind of like, man, I don't feel like doing anything. I don't want to really put on any outfit. And this is me. This is me not really putting any effort into my outfit and just being like, I just want to lounge around the house in like a hoodie. So I got this hoodie from, I don't want to say like the places. I don't think I should like name brand drop or anything like that. But and I say name brand because everything is a name brand. Everything is. Just some brands are a little cost a little more than other brands, but that's besides the point. And so I was just like, I like this hat because the material of it is like a woolish material. So it still keeps you warm when it's like those colder seasons. So all of the heat stays in there, just like one of those like beanie caps or whatever else. So I like to wear this hat because it holds heat, but also like if I'm wearing it and I know I'm going to just be walking from the outside into like a house or a store, then it's really easy to just, it doesn't feel like it's a lot. And so then I just got this hoodie. So I'm wearing this hooded sweatshirt that I got at like one of these things a couple years ago. And I wear it like twice a year or something like that. But it's when I feel like being like real just lax and just not really doing too much. These are my favorite pair of jeans. I don't know what brand they are. Oh, they're like Kenzie or something. But the Kenzie jeans fit like if I'm gonna say this and I don't mean this in any kind of like way. I'm not saying it to like insinuate anything or whatever else, but whenever you have like thicker legs, then Kenzie jeans, the material that they use actually looks like real jean material, like Levi's back in the day. And so I really like that. And I like the fact that they have stretch in them. So it's not just like there would like when I was growing up, they would make these jeans without stretch in them. And so when you bought a size, most of the time it had to be the size, and then they would be a little baggy in some areas. Then they started creating the stretch material, which I was born way after they created inserting stretch material into jeans. But I'm just saying, most of the jeans were like that. Some jeans had stretch, but now most of the jeans have stretch in them. So I really like the fact that these jeans are made with stretch and they're comfortable and they're my favorite pair because they're comfortable. They look like Levi jeans, and I mean, they were not super expensive at all. I think I got them from like Marshalls or somewhere and they only had like one pair left. So apparently I'm not the only person that likes them, but man, if I could have got like 12 pairs of these exact same jeans, I probably would have. I know that sounds crazy, like whatever else, and maybe I just need a good like 5 pair just to wash them every week and when I'm not wearing like some other kind of pants or something, but I would legit like if I had these in a really light and a medium this color and a dark color, I'd be set. I'd probably get two of these because it's my favorite wash, the like jean wash. color. And so I was just like, I just want to be comfortable. And something inside of me was like, I want to be comfortable, but I also want to be stylish because I don't want to just be lax because I don't feel good. Like, I'm not trying to, I know this sounds crazy, but I was really like in my head, like, I don't want to dress like I'm trying to allow sickness to enter into me, or like I'm trying to, like, I don't want to say confirm, I don't want to claim it. I don't want to claim that over my life. So the what I'm wearing, the talk that I'm doing, everything that I'm doing is intentional still. Like I don't want anything to deter me from my purpose at all, or to deter me from being the person that God wants me to be. I don't want to be like, oh, whatever, leave me alone because I'm not feeling good. Just because I'm not feeling good doesn't mean I gotta make everybody else have a crappy day. I just have to still keep pushing and just be a good person. I can't just like, yeah, my throat feels crazy, but okay. Everybody else's throat doesn't feel like that. So I have to really be mindful of what I'm doing and how I'm treating people and the way that I'm saying things. And I say that, and it's so weird because I don't know if I should share this, but let me say, like, if I'm in a situation where there's this person who is like the sweetest person ever, or the kindest person I know, or something like that. Let's say it's a kind hearted person who is cool, and I know that I can't get with this person for whatever reason. Like, it's just timing. It could be me not being ready, whatever else it is. I don't know. Just life. Who knows? Nobody really knows what's going to happen. But let's say it's something like that. I could. This is so immature, like so crazy that I would even do this. But like, I could feel myself wanting to be mean, or not mean, but just like standoffish, or not standoffish, but just like kind of distancing myself from that person, even though they haven't done anything wrong at all. It's all me. I mean, of course, they're not a perfect person either, but I just constantly am just like, oh my gosh, I just need to. I know that, like, if I know that someone is a good person, I definitely don't want to put them through crap, if that makes any sense. So I try to, like, get as far away as possible because I don't want them to be dragged into my whatever is going on at the time. I like to try to make sure that I treat people the way I would want to be treated. Like, I would never want someone to keep me around just for their own selfish gain. Like, I truly want everybody to be happy. And if I know I'm holding someone back, or someone could, like, especially if somebody's been waiting for something for a long time, I don't want to be the person that holds something up or that stops someone from getting what it is that they want. And in the past, what I would have done is I would have pushed the person away by saying something crazy. I would have said something that I knew no one would be okay with. I would have, like, and then even now, like, as I was healed, I could feel myself starting to do some of that stuff. And I try not to be that person anymore because I want to have people around, like the right people. Let's make sure we make that clear. I don't want just everybody around me. I want only the people that God intends to be in my life around me. I don't want any person forced to be there. I don't want any person there who shouldn't be in my life at all. Like, I don't want any person to feel like I'm pulling pulling their arm, like really trying to force them to be with me, like nothing like that. And so I really try to be intentional with how I treat people, and sometimes I could feel myself push people away because they get too close. Like if I get a connection, I could feel myself, I'll say something that I know is like so absurd because I know that the person will be like, "Oh wow, I definitely don't want to be around that person," or "Oh, that's too much," or whatever else. And I really the weird thing is sometimes I don't even realize I'm doing it. And so I'll do it and then I'll be like, I don't want to be that person anymore. I don't want to do that. And so, but I'm trying to be better. I'm trying to do better. I'm trying to not think of it like I have to always push people away or I have to always have this guard up. I'm trying to be better at allowing the right people in because I've already prayed about it. And any person that's not supposed to be there is going to be gone. They're not just going to have access to my life. They just can't. I don't want to surround myself with the wrong people. I want to have boundaries. Yes, I did yawn. I'm sorry I yawned on the video. I've been feeling like I need to like get some rest, and I probably should. I probably should like drink some tea and just take like a nap or go to sleep or whatever, but maybe I will. We'll see. I want to do some other updates and I got some stuff that I want to work on my business with, but we'll see. We'll see how I feel. I mean, I already started the other stuff, and most of the things I won't need until the beginning of next year. So this is just me being just over the top, doing extra stuff. So, especially since one of the events was canceled. So I do have another thing that's coming up. I want to say it's the first week of December, which it is, but it's weird because it falls on like a Tuesday or something. So, and by the time this video comes out, it might have already passed, but I'm going to be at this event thing and it'll be really informative. I think it'll teach me a lot of information so that I can learn different perspectives, see different people in the same type of entrepreneurship that I'm in, allow like it'll be a good environment to be in to where I can market and we can maybe trade ideas or work together or whatever else. So it'll be really great. I'm really, really glad that God is allowing that to happen in my life. And I just, I really wanted to just talk about meditating. And that's it. I don't know how these videos always end up going on like a whole different avenue. It's like the flow starts happening, and then the next thing you know, I say something that I'm like, that makes no sense. And then God will say, watch such and such video. Like I'll literally be on there updating something or getting ready to update and change the video so that it'll be a little bit more professional, more polished, so I can represent God in the best way that I can. I mean, it's not going to be perfect, but I'm going to try to show that Christianity doesn't just have to be, you know, broke Christianity. It could be abundant Christianity. It could be, and I don't mean abundant just with money. I mean abundant in giving God our best, like the best that we can do at that moment, and not just settling because we know God will accept us. I don't want to just do that. I want to be intentional. I want to make sure that I'm putting forth an effort, especially when it's for God, way better or way more than I would if it was just something for me or something for someone else. My throat is just like, So when the pastor was talking about meditating, he really brought up a good point about how when we think of meditating, we think of like, of course, most people probably think of being Zen. They probably think of these moves. They probably think of different religions. They probably think of allowing spirits in or whatever else. And I didn't think of that until I met this interesting person who had a lot of theories and different ideals about different perspectives on yoga, meditation, like a bunch of other things. Like I don't like to just give anyone my ear, but I also like to take in as much knowledge and be as understanding and try to listen in different areas because I want to hear people out. I don't want to just be like, oh, well, whatever, we think different. Oh, well, like I don't ever want to be that person that just judges people and makes them think that they only have to think the way that I think. Like I'm a different person, so we're not going to agree on everything, and that's fine. But I also want to gain as much knowledge about a little bit of everything. Like I want to make sure that I'm expanding my horizon and trying to be the best, most well-rounded person that I could possibly be. And so, so we're having this conversation, and they're talking about different things like that. And the pastor actually started preaching on it in the sermon that I heard this morning. And the pastor says, "Oh my goodness, I should have brought some water in here." The pastor said that when you think of meditation, usually that's what you think of is like, you know, different poses, or you think of spirits or whatever else. And he was saying that in the church, we don't talk about meditating a lot, which is weird because meditating is one of the most important things that you can do in your religion because If you're in church and you're listening to the sermon and you don't meditate on the word, it's not feeding your soul. It's not feeding your spirit. And your spirit has to be fed in order for you to continue to progress. And so for me, I think we need to really be mindful about meditation and make sure. And make sure that we are being intentional and really taking our time and really focusing on the word, focusing on the Bible, focusing on what it is that we're reading when we're in Bible study, making sure that, okay, we're going through a lesson and we know this stuff, but we don't want to get spiritual amnesia after the lesson. We don't want to get spiritual amnesia after the sermon on Sunday. We want to make sure that after we've taken whatever it is from the gospel, that we are obtaining the knowledge, we are letting it seep into our soul, into our spirit, so that we can carry that on with us throughout the rest of the week, throughout the rest of the days, so that we can be intentional about our relationship with God and intentional about building that relationship with God, and not just only hearing it and saying, oh man, that word was good. You know, you hear a lot of people say, oh, you really preached the word today. And there's nothing wrong with people saying that, but what are you doing with the word? We got to really make sure that when we are hearing the word, we are really taking it and applying it, implementing it into our lives. Like if it says love thy neighbor and during the week your neighbor gets on your nerves, and it just doesn't have to be someone next door. It could be someone at your job. It could be someone in your family. It could be your friends. It could be whoever else it is. Whoever. It could be a stranger in the store. When someone gets on your nerves, you instead of you being patient and leading with love and kindness, you might have a different attitude about it. But if you're really implementing it in your life, you are really trying to lead with love and kindness no matter who it is. I'm not saying let people walk all over top of you. I'm saying have healthy boundaries and standards. Healthy boundaries and standards for your life so that you can be everything that you need to be, so that you can make sure that you're implementing love thy neighbor in your life. You're really being intentional about showing them what true Christianity, true Christian love looks like, instead of just trying to make it seem as if you got like some kind of, I don't know, bone to pick with someone or something. Like that's not godly. And so we really do have to be mindful of that. Even like at night when I'm reading my Bible, because I usually read like a chapter a night or something. And at night I'm usually reading like, I'll usually do the one chapter. Mm, my throat is on fire right now. Okay, I think I'm good. So even when I'm laughing, it's like, oh my goodness. So yeah, just make sure that you're being intentional. And I know I had to pause the video. That's why it always seems like it skips a little bit, because I'm always like, okay, well, let me go ahead and like get a drink of water or do something so that I will be able to talk instead of just leaving the video up or whatever else. And I only say that because I thought about that and then I'm like, well, no, I'll just pause it and then just come back. And so I do that. And so I was saying, every night I'm reading a chapter of the Bible. So while I'm reading the Bible, what I do is, and I only say this because for me being a baby Christian, what helps me might help someone that's new to their faith or whatever else. And so when you're doing, and I don't mean whatever, like it's whatever. I mean just like anything else that you're doing. And so when I am reading the Bible, what I will do is I'll read the chapter forwards and then read it backwards. And that's not my idea. I got that from Pastor Jerry Flowers. He is a pastor at, I think it's no, I don't know what the name of the church is, but the channel or whatever that he does on podcast is called Redefined TV, and it's about redefining relationships religiously, is what they always say. And I like it because it's not just about like romantic relationships. It could be about the way you treat your friends, your family members. It could be about how you treat yourself. And it's all about leading with love and the way that God intended, or walking by faith. It's about allowing God to lead us in our life so that we don't end up just doing whatever we feel like doing. Like, he always talks about society as well, like I do. And so, and I'm not saying it because I'm saying it. Like he doesn't say it because of me. I think it's just the mindset because I know that God is the number one thing that I need to follow. And if what society is doing is going against my religion, then I know it's not something that I need to be doing. And so I think that's just one of those common sense things. It's common, but it's not common, if that makes sense. So like like it's common knowledge. It's out there for people to gain, but not everybody wants to obtain it. Nobody, not everybody wants to educate themselves, and not everyone wants to try to become a better person because of it. And so for me, I know that if society is saying, "Oh, this is right," and I know it's the wrong thing, I'm not about to do it. And I mean, it could be tempting or whatever else, but I mean, I'm not going to pretend like I'm not tempted because I'm tempted like every other person. Every person struggles with sin in one way or another. And I think we really have to be mindful. I know my voice is like, oh my goodness. Oh. I'm going to try to make it through this. It's so crazy. I don't know what happened. I guess it's just the weather or something. I don't know. But, oof, crazy. Okay. So, yes, so he just talks about redefining relationships righteously or whatever, religiously. And I think it says righteously. And so he's on there and he always talks about different things with, family members, different things with the type of friends that you have, different things about like the type of person, like the kingdom relationship and things like that. And so whenever I hear him talking, I'm like, whenever he says something that aligns with what it is that I want, I'm like, people thought I was crazy when I said that. Like, and I feel that same way about TG and TG's Tony Gaskins. Like, when I was younger, I was thinking like this, and people around me would always say, that's crazy. Nobody thinks like that. Nobody does that. Everybody's doing this. Oh, you got to do it this way. Like, and it would be a group of people that would look at me so weird, and I would be so judged because I didn't want to do those things, or I didn't want to live like that, or I didn't want to make those types of decisions. And I would always feel like an outcast cast for it. And it's so funny because when I got to like the breaking point, the vantage point in my life where like everything just turned, the turning point. Let's call it the turning point. I don't know if I want to call it a vantage point, even though it could be called that because I was about to go into a scientific theory and everything. I'm not about to nerd out right now. So let me just go ahead and continuously just continue on and talking about the things that I was talking about. So stay on the trajectory of things and go ahead and just verbalize my thoughts. So, so yeah. So the turning point in my life because I'd made a 180, I guess. And so, you know, because we already went over like the different types of angles and all that stuff, I don't want to do another like quick recap of it, but I could if I needed to. Different types of angles. 180 is like just turning from one way to the other. It's like straight. That's true. Most people say 180 because it goes like that whenever you're looking at it. Like if it's a flat line, a straight line, and it would go right over 90 degrees, acute, obtuse, whatever else. So, yeah, nobody cares about that. But, anyways, now people that don't know might know, or if they needed like a recap on math from back in the day, now you have it, whatever. And so, mm, mm, mm. So, yeah, the turning point in my life when I really was feeling like I can't keep living in this societal way. Like, I can't do it another day. I can't do this again. I can't be in this type of relationship, acting like this type of person. I can't be completely drained. I can't have all this negativity, this toxicity. All of this stuff was draining me and make me feel absolutely depleted every single day. Like all of my energy was sucked out of me, like the life out of a person and a vampire. Like it was just so horrible. It really just made me feel like an endless soul sucking cycle. Really. It was horrible. And so I just got to the point where I was praying to God, and of course you'll learn more in this book, shameless plug. But got to this point where I was just like, God, I need you. I don't know what else to do. I'm not about to cry again because I cry every time I talk about God because He is so amazing to me. Like, He really is so good. And I just was like really at the lowest point I could possibly be in my entire life. And I just felt like I don't know what else to do. I don't know where else to turn. I don't know what to do. I just need you. And the next thing you know, He's there. Like, as soon as I called on Him. And it's a part in the Bible that talks about, we were reading it one day when I was like first rededicating my life back to God. And I say that because I was always a lukewarm Christian. I was always that Christian that was like, "Oh yeah, I'm Christian, but I would do whatever I want." You and don't judge me. I know everybody that saw that was like, "Oh, you were supposed to be Christian, but you just did whatever you wanted." You do whatever you want now. When God is telling you go ahead and give this money to this person, you're like, "They don't need it. They probably already have money." He didn't ask you all that. He just said he just said for you to go ahead and do it. So why are you procrastinating? That's exactly what I'm talking about. I was that type of Christian. I was the type of Christian, and I'm use that term loosely because I always believed in God, or so I thought. I thought, like, I mean, let's just say I always believed in God. I always knew He existed. I always knew that He was there. And I just felt like, okay, He's there, but now that I've made this mistake, I can't go back. Like, I've done too much. He's never going to accept me now. Like, I know that sounds so crazy now that I know what I know, but back then, like, that's really how I thought. I really thought, like, oh my gosh, I messed up so much. There's no way God will accept me now. And it was so not true, because God will accept anybody at any point in their life. You don't have to be perfect to come to Him. You could just be willing and obedient. That's all you really need. And so I just, I was just like, oh man. Ugh. So I was at that point, God came to me, and then he says He never intended for me to have to go through any of that. And I broke down crying. Like, not just like in these videos, like, oh, God's so good. No, I was crying, bawling my eyes out, like real, like horrible. And I would say like the UGLY word, but I don't want to, I don't want to say that. It was a terrible cry. Like, I mean, I was like, it was bad. It was like, it's funny now because I'm not at that moment, but when I was there, I was just like, I don't know what to do. Oh my gosh, I could laugh about it now. That's how you know you're over it, when you can laugh about your lowest point. Mm-mm-mm. But yeah, I was just like really crying hard though. Like, if mm, I just had like a meta I just had this analogy come up in my head as I thought about the tears that you cry, because all of the tears that you cry before you're being saved is kind of like being stuck on that boat with the storm without faith. And then once you have faith, like God is carrying you. Like that's what I envision when I just thought about that. I just have moments like that all the time. But anyways, so after I'm doing that and God comes to me and I'm having a conversation with God and I'm telling him all the things that are going wrong, even though he knows, but me like leaning on him, me calling on him, me needing him was enough for him to like just take out his hand like he did Peter and was just like, I got you. You know what I'm saying? And so, why did I say you know what I'm saying? But it's too late now. It's in there. So, so I was just like, okay, I'm good. And oh my goodness. And so then the next thing you know, I was just like, I mean, I felt crazy because everyone else wanted to make like bad decisions and do the wrong thing. Everyone else didn't see anything wrong with me wanting to do, like, they didn't see anything wrong with the situation, or they didn't understand why I would want better or want to do better. Like, it was just like, this is what everyone has. So why are you saying that you want this? That makes no sense. And to me, it was just like, it made perfect sense. Like, God's way makes perfect sense to me. I'm over analytical and that makes sense to me. That's how you know it's God. Because even no matter what theory, no matter what type of thesis or over an analysis that I want to have, like regarding God or biblical terms or theology, it always makes sense to me. It clicks. Like there's nothing anyone can say that would make me feel like God isn't who he says he is, if that makes any sense. Like, even though faith is the hope of things unseen, like, you really have to, when God steps into your life and he shows you who he is, it's really hard for somebody to try to convince you otherwise, if that makes any sense. And so it was just like one of those things. And so God is, helping me. And if it wasn't for him, I probably would still be in that same position where I was. Like, I don't know if I could have gotten up without him. Like, I felt like I just wanted to live in that spot and just like disappear. I didn't feel like I could keep going. I really felt like that was it, like for real. And so he really saved my life. And I know it sounds like weird to say that, and not a lot of people will be willing to share that or whatever else, but I don't care. Like, if I'm helping somebody else, then go ahead. Like, let me tell everything. I don't care who judges me, seriously, because people judge Jesus. They're going to judge me. That's just, it is what it is. And so, I mean, if I went through that for a purpose, it makes me feel even like my heart feel even better because I know it's helping somebody. And so so after God helped me up, then this video comes up, Tony Gaskins, and legit answers all the questions I prayed about and talks about everything that I've thought my whole life that people have been saying is crazy. Why would you think like that? Why would you want something like that? Why would you even ask for something like that? Why would you even feel like you could want to be in a healthy relationship? Why would you feel like this is okay? Why would you feel like you can stand up for yourself or speak up for yourself or do this or do that? And it just confirmed everything that I had been feeling before that moment. And it was like God was telling me, I got you. I'm going to give you everything that you need. Like, if you seek me first, I got you. No matter what's happening, no matter what anybody else says, like, you following me, it won't make sense to anybody else, but everything is just going to work out. And I believed it. I knew it. I knew it was true. And especially when I had the validation from that video, it was just like, oh my gosh. Like, I don't know. It's like, I don't know if you've ever been in a conversation with like let's say it's a family member or a friend or something. You guys are always like debating something or whatever else. And you're just like, "Oh no, it has to be this." And they're like, "It has to be that." They got this real educated explanation of why things are the way they are, and you just kind of feel like, "Okay, well, I'm just going to give this one to them." Then the person comes like next week or the next month and says, "Oh, this, and this," and it's the same thing that you said, and you just like you just got validated, and you're like, "What?" And you don't want to be that person that's like rubbing it in, like, "See, I told you," but you're also like, "I knew it." Like, I inside, I didn't need it for anybody else, but I needed it for me. Is how I felt when I heard that in that video. It was like validation, like the whole time. I knew it. And so I really just felt like, okay, this is good. This is what I've been waiting for. This is what I've always seeked. This is what I've always, I mean, I guess it was my intuition. I don't know what you want to call it, but I always felt like this was possible. Like, this was something that I needed for my life. This is something that I could have in my life. And the whole time, I don't know, I really feel like this is how another like validation, confirmation that God is real, because I feel like God always knew, because I always knew I wanted to help people. I just didn't know how I was going to do it. I always knew that I wanted to be the type of person who wouldn't judge people. Like, and whenever I would try to be in a situation where I was judging someone, something weird or crazy or inconvenient would happen, and I would be like, like it would not feel like me. And I would make observations and stuff like that. And sometimes, when I was real, real young, I would join in on something. But when I did, I always felt guilty about it. And so, so I just, I just finally had that validation. And I really feel like Satan knew from the time, like, he knew I was a problem was born when I was born. Because ever since I was younger and I went through like the first thing when I was 2. I don't want to like go into details of any of the stuff. I'm just gonna say ages. But when I was 2, something happened in my life that was like a tragic event, and that could have stopped me, and I kept going. Then when I was 7, something else happened, and that stuck with me. Like those two combined stuck with me. And at first I was like, okay, well, it sucked and it was horrible, but I didn't want to let it consume me. And then when I was like 11, 12, something like that, then I got introduced to my bully. And that was like the third thing that I guess Satan needed to try to really make me feel like I couldn't do anything. To really stop me from helping people, to really put me on, postpone my destiny, if you will. Like something that could distract me enough to not make me want to help people or make me want to allow people into my life. Like it was like, okay, this happened, that's inconvenient. It sucks. That happens to a lot of other people. I'm not really thinking of it like that. The next thing happens, I know it's not an everybody thing. It's really, really horrible that it happened to me, whatever else, but I'm not gonna let this stop me. And I didn't know at the time, I don't want to go into too much detail, but it's just one of those things that I had protected myself from. So I didn't even really, it wasn't even something that was a real issue then, because I just kind of blocked everything that happened before then out of my mind. And it wasn't that I blocked it out because I knew what was happening. I blocked it out because I guess that was your brain's way of protecting yourself. So I just blocked everything. And then that's probably no lie, like legit, that is probably why I do such a good job at blocking and guarding myself from other people. Oh, snap. See, this is what happens in these videos. I just start talking and then it's just like everything just starts clicking. But seriously, I feel like that's why I'm so good at like pushing people away and guarding people from being that close to me, because it's almost like a defense mechanism that I've always used. So it's really hard to break something like that, but I'm not the same person that I used to be. And you know that when you find God, His blood covers you. He can cleanse and wash anything away. All of your sins are washed away when He gave His life for you. And if you profess that Jesus Christ is your Lord and Savior, He's doing everything that He can to break all of that toxicity, that negativity, that cynicism, everything that could be hindering you or stopping you from your purpose. He will break it off of you, which is probably why I could feel uncomfortable in certain situations, because He's moving me into those spaces so that I can be a better person. So I can be vulnerable around certain people, the right people, so that I can be open to allowing someone to be a part of my life, to be in a position where I really can guard my heart, but let the barriers down. Okay, God, I see you. I see what you're doing. Okay, see, but if God would have tried to explain it that way, I would have been like, I would have trusted Him, but I would have said that makes no sense. But when you go all the way around and then come back to the answer, it's kind of like, okay, God, I see you. Always surprising and doing amazing things in people's lives, just breaking things down. Okay, yeah, okay, all right, but yeah. And so let's just go ahead and go into conclusion, because my throat's starting to like do the thing again. I don't know what's happening. I don't know if it's just because the weather got real cold all of a sudden or what, but it's just like feels irritated. Like like, have you ever yelled before? And you know how like your throat feels a little weird like that afterwards? That's what my throat feels like right now. Like I just was out in the forest or somewhere and I screamed really loud and my vocal cords are like strained, is what it feels like. Or, you sung a lot, but I'm not a professional singer, so that's why I said screaming, because most people aren't professional singers. And so, in conclusion, meditation is so important, especially when it comes to the word. We're not talking about letting spirits in. We're talking about letting in the word, letting the word seep into your soul and your spirit, allowing the spirit of God to penetrate your soul. Because if your spirit isn't right, the rest of you won't be. You will be unbalanced. See how I just threw that in there? But I mean in a biblical sense. And it will really make your mind, body, and soul not be everything that it could be. When I'm reading the Bible, it's allowing my mind to expand beyond human reasoning. Because for society, it makes sense to do certain things, but for God, that's not biblically sound. And when it comes to my soul, when it comes to my body's a temple. I can't just allow. I just can't have my body doing or being all whatever else. I need to make sure that I'm completely treating my body as the temple that God allowed it to be. Like as long as my knees are working and I got all my fingers and toes and I'm taking care of my skin, I'm taking care of my body like eating healthy, exercising, whatever else it is that I can possibly do to show God that I'm really truly treasuring and respecting my body is what I plan to do. And I say plan because, as humans, we make mistakes. And I want to make sure that I am being intentional. Yes, I'm going to eat something unhealthy every once in a while. I don't just eat all healthy food 24/7 every day of the week. Like, that's not me. I do eat a pizza every other week or sometimes on the weekends. I do eat like candy on Halloween, or I might eat. There used to be like this Dove dark chocolate in a little teeny tiny case, like this big, and I would get it every week. Every week I would get one, and let me just say, it's dark chocolate, so chocolate is better for you. I was just thinking about something my cousin would have said, but anyways, and no, not in that way. Just like a little funny thing that we would say because we were always like, we like to really just talk about different theories and different things and, just history, whatever else. And not history in that way, but history and just like our upbringing, things like that. And so it's just one of those things. But yes, so I would get that. It's better for you. It really has like 5 calories and like maybe a 1 gram of sugar, if that, something like that. I think it says 0 grams of sugar, but it is a little sweet. So I know there's like some kind of artificial sweetener or something in there. And it's literally 5 calories. I could eat it probably not even on a cheat day and still be good. But I used to get that. They stopped selling it. They used to only sell it at Dollar General. Not trying to shout them out, but you know what I'm saying? And so it was just really good and delicious. And yes, I eat stuff like that sometimes. I try not to eat it a lot because, I want my teeth to continue to look like this. Like, let me tell you how serious I am about my body. I'm so serious about this body thing that I seriously, when I drink coffee, I don't even drink coffee the regular way. I don't even drink it like this. I drink it with the little the stirrers that are supposed to be for stirring. Yes, people are gonna judge me, I know, but but the little stirrers I drink out of the straw because I don't want to stain my teeth. Like I'm that serious about it. And no, it's not that big of a deal, but I don't want to constantly have to scrub and get like teeth whitening treatments that are weakening the enamel of my teeth just to please somebody else. Like I'm protecting myself. And so that's why my teeth look like this because I literally don't just do regular stuff. I really am about that life. I'm really about protecting my temple and making sure that I'm making it as healthy as it possibly can be. And like even with the pimple thing, like all of the pimples from yesterday are gone. This one's drying up. You probably can't even see it because it's drying up. I even had one right here. I was like, really? But that one's going away too. So I guess because now that I know that my skin is like everybody else's, just kidding. But no, like never just like worship anything. Like obviously treat your body like a temple, but don't worship your body. Obviously treat your house like, you're being a good steward of your house or your car, but don't idolize your house or your car. Obviously respect your spouse or your potential partner or people in your life, but don't idolize them. Like my main lesson that I learned is regardless, God's in control of this and everything else, and God is number one over everything. Like, I don't care if I gotta be blotchy for the rest of my life. God is always gonna be number one in my life. I'm not worshiping God because my skin is clear. I'm worshiping God because He's God, and because I believe in Him, because I worship Him, because I would sacrifice and give to Him, because He's everything to me. Not just because of the things that I have in my life, but because He is who He said He is. And also make sure that when you're reading your word, when you're going to church, when you're in Bible study, you are really being intentional. You are really meditating on the word, allowing it to seep into your mind and your soul so that you can remember those things. Like say a little prayer if you need to, if the pastor doesn't, that you will obtain and take on that knowledge throughout the rest of the week. Be intentional with the rest of the week and implement that lesson into your life so that you can grow spiritually and not just grow in other mental capacities. Like really being mentally intel emotionally intelligent. I don't know why I was gonna say mentally intelligent, but everyone knew what I meant when no one knew that. But but when it comes to being emotionally intelligent, it's really important to allow yourself to be mentally stimulated when it comes to like podcasts or reading books or even the word of God. All three if you need to, like that's what I do. And so just allow that stuff to penetrate your ear, your mind, and your soul so that you keep it fed so that you don't end up trying to seek something that's only a temporary fill. You want to make sure that you're getting full off of the gospel. You're getting full off of God so you don't have to seek all of this temporary satisfaction out in the world. So you don't have to try to fulfill it with things that will never be a permanent fix. Because honestly, the only thing that will ever be permanent, that will ever give you complete fulfillment and joy and peace is God.